In this session, let's talk about enterprise architecture. And let's start with a scenario. So let's say a vendor came to a company and approached the business leaders, and then they gave a demo of a specific application. Let's say the application can be how to reach to your customers better, or maybe how to track your logistics, or how to improve efficiencies with your suppliers. So let's say this vendor showed this application and how it can help the business. And the business thinks this is the best thing and exactly what they need because application seems to have all the functionality, and they might ask for what is the cost, and let's say cost also not that much, and business is super excited to have that application. Now what they do, they ask CIO or IT leader to implement that application. Well, then CIO or IT leader asks the team, assigns a project manager, and gets the job done. Asks the team to implement the application. Is it this simple? And then just IT implements this and then happily ever after? Not really. If IT is doing the right thing, then they should ask, it may span into two paths. One is IT may say yes for the application, but let's ask for more questions. So IT should ask more questions, whoever is in a responsible position, saying that what is the actual business need? And is that the business need current and the future needs? Because sometimes business may look at what are the current needs and they may not think about what may need in the future. And then not only that, how does this application works with other applications? What kind of data it requires? What kind of integration points this application needs? Are there any challenges in connecting with other applications? And what is the total cost of ownership? That means generally maybe business may think the first year fee or just the cost of the license. But if you think of total cost of ownership, you may have to think about, okay, what is the implementation cost? What is the maintenance required? And maybe how much we need to train the users? And what is the yearly subscription cost? And what happens after, let's say, 3 years, 5 years? Do we need to renew the license again? So there are a lot more other cost factors. The team should ask these questions. And then finally, the most important thing is security. So is it secure? Is it a on-premise application or is it a cloud application? And how do they claim this as secure? Did they have any audit reports? What kind of standards they maintained in maintaining the security? So these are the questions needs to be asked before saying yes. Let's say there is another path. The team can say no, we are not going to implement this application because we already have a similar solution in other division. So there's no point of duplicating the efforts having this new application. And there is a similar solution from our strategic vendor. Well, we don't have application inside the company, but the same solution is available from a strategic vendor. It may it may not make much sense if you see, oh, both are two vendors, right? Where do we need to go for strategic vendor? Strategic vendor is having a strong relationships, and you may be taking more services from them than just one, two applications. And also the more number of vendors you have in your portfolio, it is adds in terms of maintenance. So if it is a strategic vendor, you'll have an account partner, and the part it's easy to reach and make them accountable. So there are a lot of advantages looking for solutions with a strategic vendor. Well, not all the time they may have a perfect solution, but at least trying first with a strategic vendor is a good approach. Or the IT team may say, no, maybe we can build this application internally because we have the capability. And if we build it, we have flexibility to make adjustments. So that is the two possible scenarios. Now the question is, what happens, let's say, if we don't ask these questions, if we don't take this yes, no, more questions to see the real value and fit for the needs. There is a example case study McKinsey did with one bank company. and they had around 1,500 applications. Out of those 1,500 applications, there are 50 were unused. They were not using them anymore, but still they're paying money. And there are 150 redundant applications for the same purpose. They have around 150 applications duplicated in some fashion. And there were 800 point-to-point interfaces. That means the applications are exchanging the data from this application to that application. The right way is they all should be connected to an integration platform. So there is won't be point-to-point exchange, but they'll go with the much more better fashion of something called enterprise bus or integration platform helps to maintain the point-to-point, maintains the connections and the data exchange properly. So what it's showing here is if it is not properly managed, if IT team doesn't ask these questions and doesn't look at whatever business asking more details, and if IT team starts implementing everything what business asks, and the company may end up with thousands of applications, and then they may have duplicated applications, and some of them may be at risk, some of them are unused totally. So now the question is, how can companies avoid this kind of situation? This is where we need enterprise architecture. So in a nutshell, if you have to summarize what is enterprise architecture, you can look at it as two aspects. One is enterprise architecture optimizes existing application portfolio to business capabilities. So this is all about existing applications. And then next thing is ensures strategic fit for the new solutions and initiatives. So rather than asking or saying, okay, for everything what business is asking, there is always some kind of a evaluation done. Is there a fit for the current needs and future needs, all those things what we discussed. So enterprise architecture can do these things by looking at the needs from a strategic level, an operational level, and implementation level. So they can maintain this view, and that's exactly separates enterprise architecture from other IT functions. They maintains top-down view and starts with the business because we know business drives the technology needs and technology supports the business. And business aspect here, what are the business processes and activities needed and how they should perform? From a data, how information is captured, processed, modified, and reviewed. So this is the data layer questions. And the third layer is applications. What applications needed and how they interact with each other to support business processes. And the technology. On what technology systems the applications run and how they are connected securely and reliable. So this is what enterprise architecture does. Instead of focusing on one specific application or type of application or type of technology, they start with a business from the top-down view, and these are the layers. They look at business architecture, data architecture, application architecture, and technology architecture. And this is what separates enterprise architecture from other teams. Now, enterprise architecture is in companies, it can be IT governance function, or it can be part of an office of the CIO. So it's a OCIO they call, but office of CIO, because they need to maintain this close connection with CIO as well. So this enterprise architecture team, they have chief enterprise architect and maybe enterprise architects for individual domain experts, and they support other project teams. So either on-demand based or they maintain an oversight. This function, enterprise architecture function, can be a gatekeeper for a change. Yes, it may sound that they are kind of slowing down, but because they have to ensure the strategic fit, so they act as a gatekeeper for change to make sure that it is appropriately fitting for the strategy of the company. Before buy new, they can even ask, can we reuse existing one? Why do we need to buy new? And synergies from existing application portfolio and checks on dependencies and duplications. And this team maintains end-to-end view of business processes and systems. Rather than focusing on a siloed approach, they can see from top down, and they can maintain this end-to-end view. And they can, that's exactly, ability to look beyond organization silos, and they can offer consulting services inside the company, either for business teams or technical teams as well. So the teams can approach them saying that, hey, we are running into this problem. We're thinking about some implementing some new application, or we need some help in solutions, or can you check is this problem there in some other department? Or they can even get questions like, hey, what is the best practice for this kind of problems? Now, enterprise architecture has to go and research and gather the information and provide this to the delivery teams. And team members are loaned to a project. Even though they are part of a EA team, they can be temporarily assigned to a specific project, especially in the design part. And generally, the team has direct connection to CIO. So with this, you see the role of enterprise architecture is very critical, has a direct link to the CIO, and they ensure this strategic fit for the new applications and maintains the optimizing the existing portfolio of applications.